I got to tell you, there is some major crap coming down the pipeline right now regarding the misdealings of the Biden administration. Now, we already know that they have been lying to us since they got into office. They lied to us about the criminal activity that was going on in our streets. First, they told us, nah, it's down. And then we, find out it's exploding, which is exactly what I said from the beginning. They lied to us about the job numbers. They tell us, oh, jobs are fine. People are getting jobs left and right. And then, it comes out, oh, actually, we were over 800,000 jobs off. And in fact, all those jobs are going to illegals, not to the American people. They told us they couldn't do anything about the border when in fact they could do stuff about the border. They lied to us about how bad the economy really is. And they have been lying out their freaking teeth about the economy, about Joe Biden, about him wanting to pardon his son, not wanting to pardon his son, and then he pardoned his son. They've lied about everything. Pretty much it became easy to tell what the Biden administration was going to do because what they said they were going to do was 100% the opposite of what happened. And thank God a lot of the American people woke up. But in today's broadcast, I've got some bombshell stuff that I have to share with you. 2 huge bombshells that have just been dropped about the Biden administration that a lot of people don't realize have just been dropped. I mean, there are some real de facto arms of the government working against you out there that could usurp your entire way of life. And they're trying to keep them with Donald Trump in office. They're trying to keep all of this going on and they're hiding everything from him. I've got a lot to show you. But before I do, just a quick break from my sponsor. Now, we have been told our entire lives that wrinkle creams are the way to look younger. But now one doctor says that that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lake, the world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, most wrinkle fixes on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. Well, recently, Dr. Lake has focused his attention away from mainstream cosmetic practices. Why? Well, so that he can focus directly on anti-aging revolutionary breakthroughs. Now, his clients have dubbed this do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years and even decades off of your appearance in 2 minutes' time. In light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lake has released a step-by-step video to the public where he outlines exactly how to use simple solutions from home. Now, if you want to check it out, all you have to do is go to bhmd1.com/haven. That's bhmd1.com/haven to watch that video. And if you want more information, you can click in the description box below. There's a link down there. Or if you're on your cell phone, click that more button to get more information, but you're not going to want to miss it out as this product has been life-changing for me personally. All right, back to the broadcast. Now, as a quick reminder, please make sure you are still subscribed to the channel. As you know, YouTube loves to remove people from my channel. So check that subscription, click right here and make sure you're still subscribed. If you're new, welcome. You're going to want to stick around. And on top of that, please also make sure you hit that like button. All right, back to the broadcast. So what are some of the other things that the Biden administration has been exposed for? We'll take a look at this one here. And this is going to really piss you off. These next two are really going to piss you off. But this is on the Washington Examiner. The State Department notifies Congress of plans to shutter a censorship agency. Now, the agency that they're talking about in this article, before I kind of go on, is the Global Engagement Center. Now, this is housed in the State Department. This agency it was launched in about 2016, and it was supposed to be extended after 8 years. However, some discontent grew within the Republican Party after Matt Taibbi came out with the Twitter files and said, hey, this agency, GEC, has been known for, or is censored some of our speech. And he called some big red alerts to that. To kind of expand on that disconnect, that article on the Washington Examiner goes on to state that they're talking about the Republicans, the GOP's discontent grew from the fact that the Global Disinformation Index, which received $100,000 from the Global Engagement Center, crafted a blacklist of conservative media outlets and fed it to advertising companies to strip right-leaning sites of revenue. And by the way, here's a screenshot of who they said were less risky and risky. These were the sites. So you can see, if you look farthest from my face there, the riskiest sites are, of course, conservative sites: New York Post, Reason Magazine, Real Clear Politics, The Daily Wire, The Blaze, OAN, The Federalist, and you can see those there. So this entire purpose of this department was to go after conservatives. Well, going back to that Washington Examiner article, it goes on to state this. It says the State Department sent notification to Congress that it plans to terminate an agency, that agency being the Global Engagement Center, accused of censoring conservatives after losing support from lawmakers, according to a court filing and a source familiar with the correspondent. Now I'm going to hit the pause button before I go into this next spot. So basically, the State Department sends this letter to Congress and he says, hey, we're going to terminate the GEC. However, when you read the court filing itself, and this is where it gets a little tricky, right? It says, well, not really. We are terminating it. But what they're actually doing is they're taking all the people within that department and spreading them in 50 other places, or multiple other places. In other words, it says in the filing, attorneys for the State Department said the agency told lawmakers on Friday of its plan to move the Global Engagement Center's staff and funding to other bureaus aimed at fighting foreign disinformation. Now, all of this was made public as part of a lawsuit that was brought by conservatives. So in a nutshell, conservatives sue the State Department because of what this agency is doing, because they are censoring people. So as a result of that lawsuit, they go directly to, we're just going to terminate the department. So now the lawsuit is kind of, shall I say, in limbo. We don't really know what's happening with this lawsuit. But now, considering it's in limbo, that's aside from the point, thank God somebody brought attention to it and did something about it. But now, instead of actually fully terminating it and firing all the employees, no, they're just dispersing them to these other agencies within the government. The only reason they would do that right now is to attempt to hide all these people from the Trump administration, keep them from being fired. So I fully believe that they intend to continue their effort to suppress conservatives and go after conservative media, just like they have always done, except for they're going to be spread out and do it in all of these multiple government agencies, making it impossible to say be sued because they're so spread out. This is the crap that the Biden administration has been engaged in from day one. They fully are trying to hide this from Donald J. Trump, and I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. I really hope that we have some really good people in his administration that can go back and say, you came through this agency and this agency and this agency, and now we got to go back and weed that out. They are literally, that is what they're doing. There's no question in my mind about it. They are still going to do the same job of going after conservatives and censoring us, the American people. And this should piss everybody off, whether you're on the left or the right. This is what his entire administration is engaged in. And just in case you want to see the actual lawsuit there, here it is. And I'm going to go to the end of the document where it says December 6th there. I'm going to blow that part up. If you guys want to go back and blow that up, you can. But I'm pulling this up from Margaret Clever. She thankfully, already kind of highlighted it there. But here's what it says in that lawsuit. The department transmitted a notification to Congress regarding its plan for the forthcoming termination of the GEC and its plan to realign the center staff and their funding, their money, to other department offices and bureaus for foreign information manipulation and interference activities, right? In the event that the termination is not extended. We're just going to spread them around. Hopefully the court can do something about that. I don't know yet, but be like, but we're going to send the funding, the person, and, it's just foreign interference. They had nothing to do with foreign interference. By the way, all this information is dropping right now on the Biden administration. There's another big thing that just happened that you guys need to be aware of also, and I want you to take a look at this. And this is coming straight from judiciaryhouse.gov, straight from their mouth here. And here it is, how the federal government weaponized the Bank Secrecy Act to spy on Americans. And this was just released as of a couple days ago. Okay, and this will also really enrage you, and it should enrage you, by the way. Please make sure you're sharing this with everybody. But it says today, the House Judiciary Committee and its select subcommittees on the weaponization of the federal government released an interim report titled Financial Surveillance in the U.S., how the federal government weaponized the Bank Secrecy Act to spy on Americans. The interim report reveals how the Biden-Harris administration, federal law enforcement increasingly works hand in glove with financial institutions obtaining virtually unchecked access to private financial data. That's your data that they're not supposed to have their grubby hands on at all. And that's your financial data, by the way. In fact, here's some of the key findings that they found, right? The FBI has manipulated the suspicious activity report filing process to treat financial institutions as de facto arms of law enforcement, issuing requests without legal process that amount to demands for information related to certain persons or activities it considers suspicious, completely against our constitutional rights. That makes our banks, the FBI, all of that, the SARS reporting, a de facto arm of the government. You're going to give me what I say when I say it on who I want, whenever I want. No warrant, no nothing required, right? In the days and weeks after J6, the FBI coordinated with the Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network to encourage financial institutions across the country to scour their data and file SARS, S-A-R-S, on hundreds of Americans, if not more, without any clear criminal nexus. You didn't even have to do anything wrong. The government's access to Americans' private data is widespread and virtually unchecked. Financial institutions and FINCEN are expanding their capacity to surveillance Americans through new confidential projects and emerging technologies. It goes on, the committees and select subcommittees investigations makes clear that federal law enforcement has shown that it will leverage any opportunity to operate outside the bounds of the status that govern access to Americans' financial data. As the country adjusts to modern finances, there will come a time when almost no financial activity will occur outside the watchful eye of the federal government. Every move you make recorded in your bank and your bank information. In fact, here is the document in its full. And I went through this in a prior report on Restrictive Republic. Hopefully you're there. But one part that I really honed in on is this part, and I want you to see it. On March 6th, 2024, the committee and select subcommittee released an interim report revealing that federal law enforcement had used sweeping search terms like MAGA and Trump to target Americans, and even treated purchases of religious texts like Bibles or firearms as indicators of extremism. The report detailed how federal law enforcement viewed American citizens, treating Americans who expressed opposition to firearm regulations, open borders, lockdowns from COVID-19, vaccine mandates, and the deep state as potential domestic terrorists. This is under the Biden regime. So you're a domestic terrorist if you have right-leaning views. That is what that says. And they can treat you as such. They can go after your bank accounts and monitor everything you do. And Lord only knows what the hell they can do with that information. This is insanity. Take a look at this. conditioned these agencies, condition them to spy on you, condition them to create these searchable databases that the government could look in. That is what they did under Joe Biden. Somebody needs to go to jail for this because somebody broke a law somewhere. This is completely illegal. And then they want to tell us that they don't want to put Kash Patel in these agencies like the FBI. Kash Patel needs to get in there and clean the freaking house out. 14,000 government agencies accessing our information and over 3 million warrantless searches. There's some real crap going on. And I tell you what, this is all being dropped right now. This is all happening right now. You know why? Because I believe that Donald Trump, when he gets in office, fully planned on exposing it. And so it's being exposed at a level, right? Meanwhile, what's Joe Biden doing? He's threatening to pardon everyone who was involved in this corruption. Not to mention the January 6th committee, who reportedly deleted a bunch of information and tossed a bunch of information regarding their entire investigation on January 6th, which was illegal and criminal. Imagine if we had 4 more years of this and we lost the election. But here's the real question. What's going to continue to happen under the radar? And that's what I'm going to bring to your attention as long as possible here on this channel. So please make sure you stick around. Anyhow, I love you all. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.